Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to our channel, and thanks for logging on. If you enjoy these videos, please do me a favor and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Watchbox Reviews, right now, so I can deliver my best to your inbox on a daily basis. I'd also really appreciate it. And if you like the watches, you can buy them on our website, thewatchbox.com, where you're able to buy, trade, and sell luxury watches 24 hours a day with nearly 2,000 late-model pre-owned luxury watches and vintage timepieces available. Thewatchbox.com is the place to buy, trade, or sell watches. So today we're discussing an Audermars Piguet Royal Oak chronograph reference 25721 in titanium. This is a serial number E94000, so roughly 2003, a Jaeger-LeCoultre powered offshore in titanium with the classical 42mm case first seen in 1993. It wears easily on my 16cm circumference wrist, and you get a good sense of how the titanium watch sits because it has the broad shoulders of an offshore on a bracelet, but I can also tell you the sensation on my wrist is almost weightless. It feels like a 40mm steel Rolex. That's the advantage of an offshore in titanium. Now 42 is the distance from 9 to 3, not including crown guards, or chronograph pushers. So the watch does wear bigger than a standard 42. It's not terribly thick, as these earlier Jaeger-LeCoultre powered Royal Oak offshores generally measured far below 15mm in thickness. This one 14.5. You should be able to wear it easily underneath a jacket cuff. Lug-to-lug is where an offshore really spreads its wings. 54.3mm is the lug-to-lug dimension, but you can see that the plots, the intermediate links that join the bracelet to the case, they're rigid, so you can't pull this bracelet straight down, and the flare over the wrist horizontally creates an actual span across the wrist of 57.9mm. So this is a broad-shouldered big boy. I will say though, in titanium, it is the most wearable 42 on a bracelet you're going to encounter. I'm also going to show you that Audermars Piguet built these things to last, as the substance is there. All of the finish of the bracelet, all of the volume of the metal, a structurally robust stainless steel inner clasp body adds an element of durability that titanium would not. Again, like I said, Audermars Piguet built these to last, and that's why all of the internals of the clasp are stainless steel. The nice thing about an offshore on a bracelet is that it preserves a lot of the design coherence that Gerald Genta first envisioned when he penned the Royal Oak in the early 1970s, which is to say the watch looks all of a piece, integrated, coherent, more like a piece of jewelry for a dude than a watch on a bracelet. That's because the taper is so precise. With tolerances so fine, you can see the sweep in the taper, but you can barely feel the steps between links. You'll note that the beveling of the bracelet continues perfectly, seamlessly aligned with the bevel of the lug flank. Satin finished on the top, polish is used sparingly on the flank of the bezel, along the bevel of the links and the hoods of the lugs, accenting almost like jewelry, a clasp with a clamshell closure and a twin-fold architecture that makes it a little bit more accommodating to a small wrist. It doesn't have that one big up and over fold that can pinch you. Beautifully assembled, no pins and sleeves here. All sizable links are removed and fixed using screws. And for toughness, Audermars Piguet fixes the bracelets and straps on these offshores as well as the Royal Oaks with screws. Does it take a little bit more effort to remove the bracelet for cleaning or replacement with a strap? Sure, but you get that much more security and confidence. The case, truth be told, wears like a 44, but it also looks like a 44, so this one gives you a lot of wrist presence. You can see the character line jutting straight down from the bezel through the mid-case into the case back, built all of a piece with a fully expressed bezel gasket. What was once a hairline styling element of the original Royal Oak is now a fully expressed layer of this case that appears almost like a machine brought from the inside out. It has a highly industrial aesthetic, even as it has jewelry grade finishing. So let's get close now and let's really focus in now that the watch is off the wrist. You can see the quality of the satin finish as well as the contrast of the polish, and you'll note from this vantage point you can see that the bezel still stands proud of the bolts. These polished hexagonal bezel bolts are supposed to be recessed, and when they become flush with the bezel, that's usually the threshold for replacement when the watch goes in for an AP factory service. So you can see this one is in excellent condition with plenty of life left. Sapphire crystal with a magnifier internal for the date. The magnifier itself is actually down on the dial, so you don't have the bubble marring the lines of the crystal as you might on a Rolex with the Cyclops eye. Mega tapiserrie dial with a beautiful gloss lacquer. You can see it's a rich navy blue with white applied, white gold, Arabic numerals, nicely cropped at 8 and 10, as well as 11, and the index at 12 and 6. Sub-registers in white with no-nonsense black-on-white printing for contrast, and baton-style hands at center with a white counterweighted lancet-style seconds hand. You'll also note a metallic satin-grained tachymeter Rayhaut or chapter ring outboard that nicely unites the plane of the bezel face with the dial face itself. And of course the watch does feature a robust crown guard structure for protection, as well as nitrile or polymer covers atop the chronograph pushers, as well as the shoulder to the crown. And you can see that the profile of the crown guards is beautifully intact. The polished bevels are still present and correct. They're even from side to side. They've not been worn down by repeated refinishing. They have all of their original crispness, character lines, and definition. Now underneath the case back, which is held in place by redoubtable screws, a hybrid Jaeger-LeCoultre du Bois de Praz modular chronograph, so you can see the chronograph pushers on a higher plane than the crown. It gives you automatic winding with a 38 to 40 hour power reserve, beats away at 28,800 vibrations per hour. It does feature both hacking seconds or stop seconds, and a quick set date with the screw down crown and the screwed in case back with robust seals. The watch enjoys 100 meter water resistance, beating away at 28,800 vibrations per hour. The movement is not protected only from water, but also magnetism, is because the JLC base caliber was exceptionally thin. Audermars Piguet was able to add an anti-magnetic soft iron inner cage to these older JLC powered offshores, so they are more anti-magnetic than the in-house calibers that came after. A handsome watch with high horology finish on the outside and a high horology power plant on the inside, courtesy of Jaeger-LeCoultre. You can see and you can purchase this Audermars Piguet Royal Oak Offshore Chronograph 25721 42mm in titanium on our website. And we're back with the Audermars Piguet Royal Oak Offshore Chronograph reference 25721TI. Titanium and blue by day, green by night. You can see the polished inner race of the bezel reflecting in the loom as I angle the watch with respect to the camera. See it in full glorious detail by the light of day on our website.